Howdy everybody, it's Courtney Scott, the owner of Alpha Media. We've managed $78 million in real estate transaction fees over the last 3 years and currently managing $700,000 a month in ad spend. Also my e-com background, we've generated over $300 million in transactions on e-com websites and managed over $40 million in ad spend. And today we're going to be talking about the conversion rate optimization because that's where the magic happens. So I'm going to use all the experience of over 1,000 companies that I've worked with, and I'm going to break down the 3 main things that you need to focus on optimizing like as of right now. All right guys, here are the top 3 ways that you can optimize your business. First way that I always suggest people go on is landing pages first, then ads, then the sales process. These are the best 3 ways. So when you come down to landing pages, you want to optimize your landing page. Let's say you guys are currently converting at 10% on your landing page. So that means if you have 100 visitors onto your website, 10% eventually get to the next page. So that's what it means by we converting at 10%. However, let's say if you can bump that up to 20%. You can put it up to 20%. Now that same 100 people that's coming to your website, now you're not only getting 10 submissions, what you're then getting is 20 submissions. I'm gonna say subs, not as subscribers, but 20 submissions. I just don't wanna keep out right now all the 4 words. So let's say if your company's already doing 100K in revenue a month. So if you're doing 100K in revenue per month and you just wanna double, most people that I talk to, man, they get stuck. They get stuck at like the 3X and the 4X and they can't scale up because they start to see diminishing returns. Reason being is they're not fully optimized enough. And the best way to get fully optimized is to go and figure out what you actually can fix. And literally optimizing your landing page isn't gonna cost you any more money. Like I can go into an example of how we help optimize this client. He came to us, he had an 8% conversion rate. He was in the real estate space. He was a wholesaler. He had an 8% conversion rate when he first came to us. We scaled it up to literally 25% conversion rate. So if he had 100 people on his website, 8 people will submit the form and that's a lead. So he got to send 100 people to his website to get 8 leads. Then we got it to 25%. How do we get it to 25%? We got it to 25%. We just literally just changed from, hey, what's your name to what's your preferred name? What's your number to what's your preferred number? We literally changed it up so simple. Instead of asking, is this property listed as the first question? We just switched it to the second question and put, hey, what is the property type? Is it a multifamily, single family? Is it a condo? Is it a trailer home? Is it land? We just put that question first. We don't know why, but that's what we're testing. And that's what marketing is all about, testing. And I think you guys should definitely optimize that. All we did was just switch that. We switched the 2 questions and we also changed the what's your preferred name from what's your name. Because now when they see what's your preferred name, my preferred name is Courtney. It's just more formal, I guess. So literally if he had 100 people come to his website and we increased his conversion rate to 25%, we just basically tripled his lead flow there without even having them increase the money. And now he's doing 3 times more deals. And that's why it's really important to make sure that you guys are dialing in your process and you're optimizing your landing pages. Because now if we're looking at, now he got 25%, and just make those changes, how we went from 8% to 25%, anyone could do it. You can literally change from what's your name to what's your preferred name. You can go and change up your questions. You can go and add more, testimonials, more engagement. You can seem more like a realer person. Or sometimes we didn't help convert consultants and coaches. We help convert their website from a 10% to a 20% or 25% just by basically taking off all the BS and just actually saying, hey, watch this video, or hey, look at this presentation. And then if you're interested, click onto the next page. So we didn't have any social proof. So there's different things that you can do to help you increase your conversion rate, but that's mildly important because just by those couple of tweaks, as you guys can see, he went from 100K. Let's say if he was doing 100K, he increased it from 10% to 20%. Now he's easily doing 200K a month in revenue just by making that simple tweak. And a lot of people skip, and I don't get it, but a lot of people actually skip over that stuff. And that's why they get stuck at like a 3X or a 4X, because if they decide to increase their ad spend, so let's say he's spending 30K a month. If he decides to increase his ad spend, he's getting, let's say a 3X. So he's got 90 grand in revenue coming in. And he tried to scale up to spending 40K a month. The diminishing returns happen because, all right, he have sorted out everything, right? It's like nothing, he had those diminishing returns. He tried everything, he maxed out. So now he's like, he just stuck at 30K. And some guys just get stuck at 30K, like, I can't scale. I want to scale this thing, but I don't know how to scale. And they start trying to fix the wrong things and optimizing the wrong areas. When that is not the case, I suggest you guys actually starting off with optimizing for the right thing, which is start off on the landing page. If it's converting at a 10% and then get it to a 20%, and then get it to a 25%, at some point it's not going to make any sense. If it's converting at 30%, it's going to be harder to get it to 60%, right, to try to get those big returns. But until you get there, we're going to go over the cycle of how I like to do it and how I like to optimize based off all these 3 factors. So let's say we go and increase the conversion rate to 10%. We kind of double the lead flow just based off making a couple changes, which is great for his business. So now he's not getting a 3X, he's now getting a 6X off the same ad spend. Money stayed the same, didn't cost him anything. All he did was just change up the wording, change up the questions, He just changed up anything, took testimonials, put testimonials. He did any and everything he can, get it from a 10% to a 20%, ran some A/B tests, and all of the fun things and the unique things that's inside of it. Next thing we'll do is suggest him to go to ads. Now, how can we optimize your ads? I'm really good at paid ads, so I love paid ads. This is where I thrive at. You know, maybe somebody that's doing SEO or they're doing Google PPC, they may have a different approach. For me, I'm really good on Facebook ads because I love it, and I spent, $50-60 million in Facebook ads manager. Just me, myself, and my team. We're just optimizing. So we've done a lot of tests, we've done the trials. We've done last year, I think somewhere upwards of over 10,000 different creators of variations, because we're really big in testing when it comes to ads. So let's say if his cost per lead, or his cost per link click, let's say CPC is $10. If his cost per unique link click is $10, and we know his conversion rate just went from 8% to 20%, let's just say for easy numbers, let's just use it for example, go from 10% to 20%. With the same cost per link click, we just doubled. We literally just doubled his revenue if we base it back off of the math here. So it went from 100K to 200K just because we kept the ads exactly the same. You don't want to optimize too much at the same time. That's a lot of mistakes I see. Hey man, how can I also get my cost per link click down and also optimize my website and my landing pages? But there's differences and you'll smear the results. So do one, spend a week, 2 weeks on actually getting the data, A/B testing the data, and then seeing what decision that you're gonna make next. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. So now we want to say, hey man, let's get this cost per unique link click down from $10 to $5, which is really easy, but this is going to cost money. The first one is free. This one right here is going to cost you money because you have to test. You have to test aggressively. And what can you test? You can test audiences and you can test the creatives you use, right? And I know there's different ways you can test this, multiple stuff. You can test the headlines, you can test the ad copy, you can test so much. Okay, what are we optimizing for? You can do the bidding, but simple, break it down in layman's terms for you guys is you can just test, what type of audience you're using and what type of creatives you're using. So if we're using, let's say, ads, now I go and evaluate it, especially you're spending lots of money, so you should have different tests. You should be running different audiences. So if I ran 100 ads over the last year, I go and look at one that had the cheapest unique cost per link click and why. Was the hook good? Was the creative good? Did you like the colors? Or was it, the wording inside of the creative if it was a still image? So what I then would go and do is go and look at that data, track that, and I will keep all other variables the same. So here's what some people do. They go in and say, hey man, this one performed really well. It have an $8 cost per unique link click. So it must be this creative working. So I'm gonna change the color, I'm gonna change the wording, I'm gonna change, the ad copy that goes with it, and they change everything, and I'm gonna change the audience. So then what happens is now they're like, hey, if it works, they're like, okay, it worked. I don't know what worked, but kind of like Alex Mosey says, it's better to fail at something and know what didn't work. I would rather succeed and know what worked when I do set myself up for success, because you cannot duplicate luck. I know a lot of people gonna say luck is when preparation meet opportunity. Yes, you have to prepare yourself for the data, get the data and just go and keep on duplicating it. So what I would do is if I found that best performing ad creative, that still image, let's say if it's blue, if it's a blue image, I'm testing to see, okay, is it the blue that resonating more with my audience? Okay, it's blue, so let me try something blue, let me change up the wording. Blue, and let me change up the wording. Doesn't have an effect. I did 10 different variations of blues. I did 10 of the same color, same font, same everything, but I just changed up the wording in it. Instead of, hey, we buy houses fast, right? But I'm trying different creatives. I'm trying different wording inside of the different creative that we're gonna do, but nothing changed. Then I go and change up, say, okay, the color probably had nothing to do with it. What had something to do with it was the wording that we're reusing, right? So now we're optimizing at different scales. Now we figure out what it is. So that's why I really hate audience stacking. Hey guys, I really hope you're enjoying the video. Like I said, we currently manage $700,000 in ad spend, and we're fixing all of these things. We're optimizing the conversion rates. We're making sure the clients are getting the best results. So if this is something that may sound interesting to you, if you feel like, hey, I don't have the time to actually go in and do every little adjustment, what you can do is just hire us. So click the link below, schedule a call with me or my team, and we'll get to you and see how we can help your business grow and fix your conversion rates. See you on the next page. Now you can continue watching the video. Just click the link in the description right after this. See you guys soon. Now we'll figure out what it is. So that's why I really hate audience stacking. So a lot of people that does marketing know what audience stacking is. Dude, I really don't think no one should be doing this, especially if you don't know what worked. Reason being, because most people that have 10 audiences inside of one ad set. They have 10 audiences in one ad set, which is a terrible idea, because let's say that ad set gets you guys a quick, 5x return, but it's 10 audiences inside of that ad set. So you don't know actually which one. One may be getting you actually a 20x, and the other one's getting you a 10x, and the other one's getting you 2x, 1x, 1.5, and one is probably super negative, not getting you 0 return, but you don't really know how to scale. So once you start to spend that 30K in marketing, you actually just can't keep trying this audience and just keep duplicating that audience, because it was one audience in there, and you'll get those those diminishing returns faster. So make sure when you're running tests on audience tests, guys, do not stack them. Get the winning ones, and then you can stack them, throw them into a CBO campaign. So that was just a little bit off topic, but I just really hate audience stacking starting off. I think you guys should not do that. So if you are doing that, you're kind of hurting yourself. You may get a good return now. You may love in this, this 5x return, but potentially you have a 20x return inside of there, or a 10x return inside of there as well, because you found those two audiences. And if you were to only do these two audiences right here with a 20x return and a 10x return, you'll be then looking at an average of a 15x return, and you just literally tripled your income just by you not making that mistake. So it probably hurt then. So let's say if we can get his cost, let's go back up to the top, guys. If we can get his cost per unique link click from $10 to $5. So what just happened then is we literally just doubled his revenue again. So the first time we double it, you guys are probably not gonna see big returns like this, but 2%, 3%, 5%, little increments of you doing this, guys, will make a big difference and literally allow you to avoid those diminishing returns, which is why it's really hard for somebody to scale when they're stuck at 30K, like, hey, I'm gonna 4X whenever I pump it up, I'm not profitable, and they're not taking as much money home. So let's say if he kept the same 30K in ad spend, conversion rate went from, and he was making, let's say he was making 100K. Let's do that. Let's say he's making 100K, he's spending 30K in ad spend, he's gonna, let's just say 3.5x return on investment. But now we just optimize his website. 10%, double his lead floor, double his sale, right? From 10% to 20%, 100% increase. So now his sales went to 100K. With the same ad spend, with the same unique cost per unique link click. Then we get that to $5 because we tried different variations. We tested audiences. When we only tested audiences, that was the test. It's audiences and tests. We did not also test creatives while we was testing audiences. We just only tested audiences at that time. And the same thing for creatives. So now we know exactly which ad's working, which is the best performing one. Then we go and double his revenue again from 200K to 400K. He is literally spending the same 30 grand, didn't have to increase ad spend, he probably went down the first month or two because he's testing so much that his return on investment probably went down a little bit, but he was still profitable because he increased the conversion rate on his website. So he's still profitable at 30K. And now when he fixed all this, and this test probably take you 2 months, especially you spending 30 grand to help you make these big differences. If you're spending 30 grand, you're probably not gonna get, double the conversion rate unless your conversion rate is really slow or really low and you got a crazy unique sales process in that you guys are just absolute savages. That means you guys should implement these ASAPs and fix the landing page or fix your ads, because that's what it comes down to. So if I can get my cost per unique link click down from $10 to $5, then I just double my revenue again. So now I'm spending 30K instead of making 100. I'm literally taking home 400 grand with the same 30K. Now look at how much more profit that is. So instead of me only taking home 70 grand in profit, I'm taking home 370 grand in profit, minus all expenses, minus what you're paying the sales team and all of that stuff. But you guys kind of get the gist of it. Just by us making those two changes. And the last thing I want to talk about optimizing is your sales process. So a lot of people come to me and hire me as a marketing company. I say, guys, it's my job to do two things. My job is to optimize your landing page and optimize your ads. Your job is to optimize your sales process. Most of these guys, they think they're really good at sales. You talk to a lot of people, say, oh, I'm the best at sales. Give me the great leads. I'm gonna close them. I'm gonna lock anything up. I can lock anything up. But in actuality, you can get better. Most guys get comfortable. They don't want to get better. So if you get focused on optimizing your sales process, so let's say the team is converting at 10%. They're closing at 10%. They got to get on 10 calls to convert at 10%. What then happens is, hey man, if we convert at 10%, how can we get you guys converting at 20%? What makes sense? Optimizing the sales process. I'm changing up scripts or your show rate. Let's say show rate 2. Your show rate is bad. Let's say most people are not, your setter is DQing too many. So let's say you have a setter in place, it's DQing too many. You have all these different variables that go into it. My biggest thing is what you probably couldn't do to have the biggest impact would be your branding. So if you're like a coach or you're an agency owner or you're a consultant or whatever the case may be, your branding is really important because we all know that branding is a new currency. Hands down, because it builds more trust, more authority easily. If someone get on the phone and say, hey, dude, I trust you way more because I saw this guy do this, X, Y, Z, he's done these results, he's been around, he met this many people. Branding is just way more obsolete than any other form of how you can optimize this. Scripts is really important, especially if you want to scale this thing up. Same thing, show up rates, that's really good. How can you optimize show up rates? How can you make your setter stop DQing so many people or have a better process, making sure people qualify, or you can, have a book a call funnel, like confirmation, like, hey, you must watch this video. There's a lot of different stuff you can put in place. Yes, I'm not saying there's different variables you cannot try, but I think the one that have the biggest impact, because that's your job as the owners to focus on what can have the biggest impact now to help you in the future. Because if you can fix this and then this, everything works well. But if you fix this and this later, because this is going to take you the longest, and you're going to just delay the results to later on. And you don't want to do that because you want your guys converting from 10% to 20%. So now they just literally double the sales. So now you're looking at 800K. You're not going to have marginal gains, but just keep this in mind. Let's say if you increase the landing page to 2% extra conversion rate, you make cheaper CPMs, and you get your cost per unique link click down by 3%, right? And then you go and optimize your sales process to get 10%. It's a 15% increase. So if you guys are already doing, let's just say it's a 10% increase. If you guys are already doing 100K and you can't scale past that 3 to 4X, now they give you more wiggle room to put more in ads to bring in more revenue. So that's why literally optimizing, I think the best way to start off is with optimizing these. Hold on, once I hit the wrong button. That's what you got to optimize, these 3 factors, which is, you know, the landing page, ads, and sales process. Because I can give you guys some examples. So let me give you an example for like optimizing your ads, which is like relatively important. Had this client, we created a video, a country song. And what we've noticed is the southern part of the US, which is, you know, the cowboy hats and, you know, the southern people, the old country people. We was like, hey dude, let's go and create a country song. What we noticed is like, hey, it's getting a better stop rate, a better hold rate. More people are watching the videos. In return, we're getting cheaper cost per link clicks, unique link clicks. So what that means, now clients are seeing a surplus of leads coming in for spending the same amount of money. Just by us going out and testing, doing professional videos, doing UGC videos, doing more still ads. We're also doing more just regular videos, funny videos, videos with women, videos with men. We're just doing different variations of it because we know what we're testing for, and what we're going to test for that week may be different from what we're going to test for in 3 weeks from now. But this cycle constantly repeats itself. So we got landing pages here, we got ads here, and we got the sales process here. So if we can increase this by 10%, the landing page, if we can increase the ads by 10%, and we can increase your sales process by 10%. So what then happens? Once you get to the point where it's like, hey, Courtney, I have optimized everything. Well, great. Guess what you got to do now? Go do it again. Because now you're at 20%. Can you get it to 25%? Okay, awesome. How can I get it to 25%? Man, I got a cost per unique link clicks down from $10 to $5. Can you get it to $4? And then, you know, hey, man, dude, the team is closing at from 10% to 15%. Now, how can we get it to 20%? You just constantly keep optimizing so you can keep getting big returns. But what happens is they scale up, they max out, they get lazy, they get all that money, take it home in their pocket, and they're like, hey, man, I'm stuck. And they start to feel lonely, start to feel down because it's like, man, dude, I know I'm capable of more. So if that's you, I definitely would recommend doing these 3 things as soon as possible. Like literally when you get off this video, you guys go and start implementing this stuff as soon as possible. Like, man, what can I change on my form? What can I change on my funnel? What can I change on my website, my ads, on my sales process, the script? Actually, if the lead opts in, can I get to it within 5 minutes instead of me waiting 10 minutes? Let me just go and optimize every part. But start off with these 3 here. Start off with your landing pages first so you can get more leads in without spending you that much money. Ads is going to cost you some money. You're going to actually fail way more. So if you test 10 different creatives and you're spending $100 to run a test, and you may only find one that works. So you spent $1,000, but you actually could only spent, you know, $100. But the returns that you would get from spending that $1,000 is, you can see that this is a 15x return, bigger than compared to, you know, what you used to do, which was a 5x return. Now you know exactly which campaign. So you actually probably didn't lose money because you made $1,500 from here and you spent $100. So you actually didn't lose money because you only spent $1,000 in testing. So you actually made $500. But now guess what you know? It's easier to scale this until it breaks at that 5x. If that's where you're profitable, that's where your breaking point at, is at that 5x. So that's why it's really important. And then once you keep on going into that cycle, and you have to keep in mind, guys, so if you're, let's say your website is converting at a 30%, you're like, man, dude, that's a good conversion rate. It may be, and you have to, as a business owner, you have to be smart. Say, it may be easier for me to go and optimize my ads first because it's at a 30%, because it'll be harder to get this from 30% to 40%. Or sometimes it's really hard for people to get this from 8% to 12% on a smaller scale, especially if they're doing a lot of volume, especially if you're spending a lot in ads. So it'd be harder for you to go from 8% to 12%. But guess what? You always can test different ads. That's why I love ads. That's why I'm not a Google PPC guy, because I just say it's lazy marketing. All you're doing is copy and pasting and letting the Google algorithm does it work. I like to have control of what I'm actually spending. like, hey, if I'm gonna spend this much, what is my cost per unique link click? Hey, what is my CPMs? What is my cost per leads? How can we get those cost per lead down? Let's try different variations. Let's try different marketing tactics from A to Z. Let's try the different hooks, different call outs. We're gonna try so many different variables to at least see if we can have 20 different points where we can increase it by 2%. Guys, just look at how big of a profit that'll make to your company so you can scale. So we had 20 different points that we can increase by 2%. That is crazy amounts of gain for your company, guys. You just scale it up to the moon, just constantly keep scaling, constantly keep scaling. And that's what you're in business for, to scale and take more home, make more profit. But a lot of guys get trapped and they're like, hey, I'm trapped in this hamster wheel, I can't get out of it. But I think if you put yourself in the hamster wheel of you just constantly optimizing, and as you optimize, you'll find something else that you need to optimize. So if it's landing pages, I got it from 8% to 12%. Let me go and get more traffic to the website. Okay, I get more traffic. Doesn't make sense. Let me get better traffic to the website. How can I do that? Trying different audiences. Okay, if I'm gonna try different audiences, now let me also try a different hook. And so I can target the right people instead of saying, hey, if you're a real estate investor, you want some leads, fill out this form below. Then you probably get lower quality people. But if you say, hey, if you're a real estate investor that's doing 5 to 10 deals a month already, fill out the form. I got a way that I can implement and increase your conversions. That's already calling out the higher quality people because they're already doing 5 to 10 deals instead of saying, hey, if you're a real estate investor, here's what we do. Because then any real estate investors can opt in. But now if you say you're doing 5 to 10 deals, you're targeting a specific type of person to actually come on. Like you already have the consistency, you already have everything already dialed in. So if you guys like this video, let's wait till the outro. Peace. All right, guys. So that's to settle up the video for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. It's telling you guys about conversion rate optimizations. Don't forget the link in the description to book a call with me and my team. And I hope you guys go and actually put that into an effect and you start working on it, because I want to help your business grow, even if you don't have me as a management company, to make sure that we take care of all these things. But however, we do. And if you want to keep on watching really insightful videos, giving you tips like this, just leave your boy a like, put a comment in there, and subscribe to the channel, because I'm just going to keep dropping this. My goal is to make sure we come out with a bunch of value at least 3 times a week. So see you guys for the rest of the week. We're just going to keep dropping highly valuable content. So peace out, guys.